The first thing that comes up oftentimes when I work with moms is guilt. Is guilting for feeling taking time for yourself, guilt that comes up when you do something just for you. And oftentimes moms stop taking time for themselves, stop doing something more than regular things for themselves just because of that feeling. So how we can manage this feeling, what we can do about it, how we can shift and transmit it so we are really living and enjoying every single day of our life. First of all, comes just a logical understanding. Logical understanding that when we take care of ourselves, we fill up our own cups. We inspire ourselves. We make sure that we have energy, that we have all the patience that we need, that we feel at our best and show up for our kids at our best. Because when you're exhausted, when you're irritated, when you feel drained, you cannot be fully present for your kids. You cannot take and provide the best care for your kids when you are not at your best. So logical understanding just of that taking care for yourself is always the first step. But logic alone will not help, because what is in our logic not always in our heart and in our feelings. So how we can tap into this more, how we can bring it on more deep level so it feeling do not arise. We need to understand that we have patterns that we observed as a kids, looking at our moms, looking at our grandmas, seeing them, seeing how we live in society, listening to all those like woman places on kitchen and all that stuff. It all forms the chemical response. So our body is trained to feel certain way, to release certain hormones, to release certain chemicals that makes us feel that guilt. And it takes time to retrain ourselves. It takes time to reprogram that we change it around. And it takes conscious approach. Whenever you have this thought in your head that, oh, I'm feeling guilty that I take time for myself, really pausing and asking yourself, is it really true? Is it really I'm neglecting kids? Is it really I'm neglecting any of my responsibilities if I take time for myself? And oftentimes you will like say, no, it's not true. It's not how it is. So breaking this pattern of thought that when we take time for ourselves, when we take care of ourselves, releasing this guilt will help starting to switch the gears. But also it's about looking into other perspective and seeing new things. So when you notice yourself that you going into this field trap, ask yourself, okay, if it's not true, what is the truth? What I choose to believe, what I choose to feel instead, what I choose different, because we cannot just pull out of the ground this belief that sits there and has all the roots spread out and trust that it just will cover itself and heal itself. No, we need to plant something different, something beautiful that will help us. So we have the second step. Notice and break this pattern and put something else instead. Choose what you choose to to believe, what you choose to trust, what you choose to feel. And over the time, you will start noticing that this voice of guilt less and less hear, that you hear it's not that often, that it's not that loud, and it starts to shift. Also, it's a good place to ask yourself, what will happen? Like, where it comes from, what I'm afraid that maybe I'm afraid that if I'll be taking time for myself, someone will say that I'm neglecting my kids. Maybe I'm afraid that someone will tell me like why you laying down and do nothing. And a lot of us has a big concepts around just laying down and do nothing. So try to go even deeper and ask yourself, what are you afraid of, where it comes from. And so when you notice that pattern, when you break this pattern, when you choose something else and look even deeper what stands behind that, then you really take the wheel in your hands and start steering the ship. You start controlling where your thoughts. And when you do this, even if your kids not used to kind of this situation, your relatives, your partners, and they come up and say something, you can express what is happening really. Mama needs rest so she can have energy to play with you. Mama needs rest so she can take care of those tasks, of those stuff. Make it normal. When you make it normal for you, everyone around will not have any choice other than just shift and align with this new truth. Because we form our reality. What we choose to believe is true. Like, I don't remember who's this phrase, but whenever you think you can or you cannot, you are right. And the same goes whenever you feel trust that this is truth or this is truth, both way, you are right. So choose every day something different. And yes, there will be day when you will still feel guilty. There will be days when you will still feel like you wasn't fully there, that you wasn't fully taking care of yourself. There will be those days. But what matters is you every day making a choice that this time it will be different, that this day it will be different, that in this situation it will be different. And slowly over the time, you will start noticing that this guilt is not even became not that loud, but it's not any longer there. And I always ask my clients to lean into micro changes and micro shifts, because our brain main focus is to make us feel safe. And the best safe place is place that is known, that is familiar, that is the same. So when we try to change, it will turn on alarm and will signal us and will come up with any excuses, any feelings to prevent you from doing that change. But when you commit it, when you take micro steps, it helps to prevent this our alarm going on. It makes it easy for us to shift and change the gears, because small steps not that scary. Today I will take 1 minute just for myself. Next week I will take 2 minutes, then 5, then 10, and I'll be okay with that. So trust the process, believe in change, choose every day something better for yourself and something more beautiful. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube channel, join the group, and be in a space where community of moms like you, feeling that you're not alone and you can do this journey together, and together this journey is much more pleasant and much more joyful. And remember, you all are chosen to be happy. Time to claim it.